The devil's advocates whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
All right, everybody, welcome to a Crimes After Dark episode on a Friday night. On Friday night, JJ and I tend to tip a few, so it's going to get a little dicey. Well, it's usually actually a little dicey, but anyways, it might get dicier than dicey. I don't know. I'm feeling really, really good. By the way, if you like our intro song and our intro video, I'm hopeful. In fact, I'll fire everyone if it doesn't happen. Tomorrow night, we should be premiering a brand new video and song. People backstage are like, no, you're not firing anybody. I want that thing to premiere tomorrow because I'm going to be on travels for next week. I am going to be on the show, but I'm going to be on travels a lot next week. And so I want to be here for the premiere of a new song and a new sizzle reel. We will not get rid of the existing one because I think it's too awesome to get rid of it. We're going to kind of cycle it back and forth. In fact, because Dago kind of put together the music that, and it's like AI is amazing, but Dago, you know, it's being a musician himself and then using his skills and his lyrics. Holy shit. Like, I am rigid with anticipation to show you the new video that's going to come out tomorrow night. You have to be here early to check that out. It's worth watching. You don't want to miss it. I guess you'll get the replay, but don't do it on the replay. Anyways, let's get going together on the show. A lot happened today. Some exciting shit happened today that if you don't like and subscribe and follow the show and put on notifications for everything, you probably missed my live this morning. We had an amazing live experience. I can't wait to tell you about it if you missed it. I will show some clips from that live. It is worth it. And hopefully my panel can bear with me as I show some clips for those who didn't make it to that. And we will talk about what happened today, which will be some other stuff that's non-Idaho 4. We will, of course, talk Idaho 4. All right, let's go ahead and bring them in as the order they are backstage. Logan from Bronx Tales True Crime. Oh, I need to change the ticker across the bottom. Or do we have it? Special Grist True Crime Cafe. How you doing, Logan?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Excellent, because you had an amazing day.
I did have an amazing day.
I know.
I heard you didn't have as amazing of a day, but I had an amazing day.
My last show today was just nothing went right. So I was like, oh, well, I'm human. We have those days. We'll try again Monday.
Oh, It's all good. I don't even want to go back and watch when I first started TikTok and YouTube because it's embarrassing to see how bad I was in there. I probably am bad now too, but I was really bad at the beginning. Like
It is
really
embarrassing to go back and watch. It's like, what was I doing? It's just a learning curve, though.
I know.
Everybody's the same.
I have learned a lot. I've
Yeah.
learned a lot in a short period of time. So as always, it's great to have you on the show. I can't wait. I hope that you're patient to listen to some stuff that you have to kind of listen to first before we can talk about it. So hopefully
I'm actually really excited for it. Really excited.
Excellent. Anything special you want to share before we bring up Dago next?
No, not today. No, we're good today.
All right. Sounds good. Well, let's bring up Dago. Dago, how you doing?
Bros and hoes.
Oh, you're muted. Oh, bros and hoes. There's a weird delay on all of you. I've noticed that there's a weird delay on all of you. Like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like I should have probably power cycled my computer. Here's the thing. We're all multimedia streamers and we always have shit going on. And I think we like crap out our RAM after a while of doing video editing and stuff like that. And I probably should always get in the habit of power cycling my computer before going live because tonight I feel like we're getting some lag and I'm wondering if it's all me. Maybe I should just fucking leave. Should I just leave? I'll just leave.
No, we need you.
That would not be any. I mean,
it's the weirdest thing.
You can leave and cycle and come back. We'll still be here.
It's the weird. I literally hear you guys talking in the room next door with my wife before I hear you here, which is the opposite of what I'd think. I would think I'm live and she would be on delay. I can hear Logan when she just talked in the other room before I heard her talk over here. It's the fucking weirdest thing going on right now.
That's strange.
Anyways. Yeah, I don't even know what's going on. So hopefully we'll get this shit worked out and untangled and all that stuff like that. But anyways, let's bring up Robin next. Robin, how are you?
Hello.
Bros and hoes.
I'm doing well. Bros and hoes. Bros and hoes. Sorry. Bros and hoes.
Good job, Robin.
It's good to see you. I gotta say, guys, while she's on the screen, I'm so effing proud. And the only reason I'm saying effing instead of the F-bomb is like I think YouTube doesn't like F words too early in the stream where you get flagged. We're getting flagged all the time.
The first 11 minutes.
I'm gonna save the F-bombs. Right. So like I'll save the F-bombs more for the middle of the show towards the end. I got plenty of them, but I'm so effing proud of Robin today. Holy shit. We had an experience to share with you where John Ray, the attorney John Ray, was going live with a public announcement about some Epstein file stuff, which completely shocked us. We're following John Ray because of the Shannon Gilbert Long Island serial killer case. And his team emailed me late last night saying, hey, he'll be on doing a public announcement. And here's, how to find him. And I'm like, we got to get on this. We couldn't find the link. And Robin is literally calling television stations and like, where the hell are you? And they're like, what do you mean John Ray's on? And she's telling them, and she's like, yeah, you're missing John Ray. And they're like, well, and they hang up on her. Like they hung up on her and
they
just,
didn't
like,
even know it.
Go. Didn't even know.
That's great.
It was bad. It was a badass experience. Robin, you were a pit bull. I'm pretty sure you got some media attention for them, which was awesome.
Good for you.
So,
I'm so
very,
curious
very cool.
to know which stations showed up in the middle of us interviewing John. Because
literally. Oh, right.
They really
I'm thinking Fox was one of them. I think.
Oh no, go.
Yeah. It was incredible. Fun. Yeah. Before we bring up, I know we got to get one up here shortly so he can do his monologue and say goodnight to the little man. But I do want to say, yes, literally, Robin was calling different affiliates asking if they were streaming it and they didn't even know what it was. And it was funny because one of the affiliates was super excited to hear that it was happening. And they're like, well, if you get the link, send us the link right away. And we got the link. And sometime during talking to John Ray, I'm going to play it for you. He was so apologetic. I'm really sorry, Lee, but the media are starting to show up here. Do you mind if I like put you on hold and I'll come back after I'm done with the media? And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, you don't even have to ask. Like, go with the rest of the media and come back. What a gracious guy. Like, he literally is apologizing to this small YouTube channel that he's got to cut the interview short. True to his word, he came back and finished that interview, and it was badass. So, anyways, and JJ, by the way, State of the Deep joined us for that and got to talk. And I've got a clip for you between JJ and John Ray where they bonded over wrestling. It's fucking epic. It's great shit. All right, JJ, what's going on?
Bros and hoes, yo.
You're muted, sir. Okay, you're not muted. You're on delay. This delay is fucking killing me.
Do you have a lot of stuff open on your computer?
Yeah, I think I got like 12 porn downloads going in the background, and it's probably crushing my internet.
That might do it.
I told you.
You're now
I've had a
in
few.
the
I've had a
Epstein
few.
file.
I've tipped a few.
Don't tell him what I told you to
Look,
do.
here's-
Jesus, what's the matter with you?
Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna attempt to do. Not that I. Here's what I'm gonna attempt to do. I'm gonna attempt to get one up on stage here quickly. We'll get him in the middle of the monologue, and even though I want to hear his monologue, I will take that opportunity to reboot my computer. Not to say that sometimes one's monologue is a little long, but it gives me time to reboot my computer and get back real quick before he's done with his monologue. So I apologize, one. If I don't get to hear your monologue, I'm going to reboot my computer. It's going to take the risk. I'm not going to hit the button that says end the stream or we're all fucked. I'm just going to leave the studio and reboot my computer and come back and rejoin the studio. All right. Anything you want to share real quick, JJ, while you're on the screen before 1-1 comes up?
No, it was very hello to everybody, of course. Yeah, and to the den and the meatballs and the mods. But yeah, it was awesome to be on with him because first of all, I was just intently listening to the information because it's a pretty crazy thing, the way the things that he talked about. And then when he brought up that he was a wrestling coach, you know, I wrestled for 11 years and so that was a big part of my life growing up. And so, you know, wrestlers are a unique breed. So I had to throw that in there. And he lit up, man, when I brought it up.
Yes, he did. And that's why I love it so much. You literally lit John up. He loved talking to you about wrestling. It was a great moment. Super cool. I want to share it with the audience because I think it was a really cool moment to see that kind of spark of excitement on his thing to kind of connect with you on places that you guys both knew and coaches you guys both knew. And hell, he may have actually, as he said, he may have officiated one of your wrestling matches for all we know. You may have.
Yeah, I mean the tri-state area, and he did coach in New Jersey for a year. So I come from, you know, I went to a wrestling high school it was big in that area. So it's just interesting. That kind of stuff is very interesting. I had to say something because it's, you know, you meet a wrestler or someone involved in wrestling. It's a unique shared experience.
Yes. Well, all right, let's bring 1-1 up. I want to talk to him a little bit. I'll get him started on his monologue, and then I will quickly exit out, reboot my computer, and see if I can get back before his monologue does. So if you wrote a short monologue tonight, you're screwing me, 1-1. So how are you doing tonight?
I'm always short.
Bros and hoes.
Right?
Bros and hoes.
Hoes. How is everyone doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. So,
did you get to you get to watch some of that John Ray thing live?
So
right? You didn't
yes,
participate, but you get to watch it.
Yes, I talked to Robin earlier about it. I'm extremely jealous. I was in your.
I know.
I was in the live. I actually had to go to the bank with my wife, but I was in the background. I couldn't come up on stage, but it was super interesting to hear all the stuff that you guys talked about, the questions. It was great. I think it was great.
Yeah, and
he was willing to take it. Like he did the press conference, and you guys were only waiting, you know, like whatever, a minute or two, and he came backstage.
Yeah, he was right amazing. Over on our stream after the press conference. Yeah, it was great. We'll share that and talk about it a little bit more. 1-1, if you want to read us in, I'm going to put you full screen. I'm going to then exit the studio with hopefully not ending the stream. I'll be right back. And no offense that I didn't just listen to your audio, okay. But I want to try to do it while you're running that. So, all right.
This is good to be alive in the den on a Friday night. Love you, Juliana, Jackson, beautiful wife, of course. Welcome to Devil's Advocates. This is not the place for easy answers. This is where certainty goes to die and questions are allowed to linger. Tonight, we step back into stories that never really end. Cases that follow us home. Documents that surface years too late. Names that echo long after the headlines move on. We begin with violence that shattered lives and left a trail of doubt. The death of Brian Thompson and the arrest of Luigi Mangione. And a narrative built quickly, publicly, and loudly, while crucial questions remain quietly unanswered. Then there are the documents, released, redacted, and horrifying. The Epstein files, not rumors, not speculation, but pages of recorded allegations and associations that expose how deep power can run, how long silence can be purchased, and how justice can be delayed until it barely resembles justice at all. What was hidden, who was protected, and why some names never seem to face daylight. And still, Idaho. 4 students, 1 house, 1 night that changed everything. The Idaho 4 case remains frozen in time for many, yet constantly evolving behind courtroom doors. Brian Koberger stands accused, but the evidence, the timeline, the investigation itself, each piece has been debated, dissected, and disputed. Is this a case of methodical guilt, or a system under pressure to deliver answers at any cost? Here, we don't rush to judgment. We don't accept narratives just because they're repeated. We examine what's known, we question what's missing, and we shine a light on what others would rather leave in the dark. Because truth is rarely clean, justice is rarely simple, and silence is often the loudest clue of all. This is the place for uncomfortable conversations, for unpopular questions, for standing in the gray when the world demands black and white. So listen carefully, think critically, and decide for yourself. This is Devil's Advocates. And with that, live from New York, it's Friday night.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, 1-1.
All right. Good
job, 1-1.
Excellent.
Yeet, yeet.
Yes.
Good night, Jackson, Juliana. Good
Aw.
night, Mrs. Woodwood.
Good night, little,
Aw.
good night, little 1-1s, and this is 1-1.
1.5.
1.5. No, I was actually in that show today too. I got a chance to actually listen to one of his shows for a change. I never usually do because I'm always busy doing my stuff, but it was good. Very
I can't wait to hear all about it. I'm excited.
Oh man.
Listening to John, it kind of levels at one point and it kind of just, you know what I mean? But the things he was talking about, his tone and his voice, I mean.
Wow. He's and he's always such a sharp dresser. I just love he's very flamboyant a little bit there.
Yeah.
So
I just think
you
what a
sound
great
little bit low,
experience.
Dago.
What, hon?
You said your volume is a little low, Dago. Do I need to
Low?
adjust you in here?
Is that any better?
Wait a minute. You're here. Okay, do it again.
Hello?
There you go. Better.
Sorry about that.
There we go. No, that's not your fault. It was StreamYard. StreamYard had you like me the other night, last night, whenever. So,
Yeah,
it
StreamYard's
was,
pretty good. Usually they don't have too many issues, but they do when they do.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that to happen today. I don't know. Something told me I needed to take the day off from work. And next thing I know, Lee's coming on going, I'm going live in 15 minutes. And we're gonna be covering John Ray. And I'm like, what?
So while we I guess while we wait for Lee to come, I know we were gonna talk about it for a second.
I was wondering.
Oh, here he is. I was just gonna say.
I was wondering why you guys were all ignoring me. I've been talking to Logan.
I didn't even know you were back.
I'm like,
I
fuck,
didn't
I guess
realize
you
you
just
were back.
ignore my ass.
Yeah.
I can't see you because all the stuff on the. Let me get rid of this.
So
crap.
there's a lot of creators out there. We talk about this many times. We bring it up. You know, there are different opinions and different ways to show things. We don't always agree with everything, but there's a respectful way to debate. So here on our show, we respect all creators. You know, if you want to have a good debate, come up on stage. We don't bash other creators. If there's something that someone shows or they're talking about that we don't agree with, we may mention someone, but we do it respectfully. So I just wish that more people in our world here would get along and work together. You know, like Dago,
I agree.
Logan, and Lee. They we all have their own shows soon. State of the Deep over there. It's about collectively working together for the truth. That's what we're here for. So this bantering back and forth, I don't know.
You're not going to get anywhere by doing that. I've said that for years now. You're not.
So let me say this real quick. We are working on trying to make sure we pin more comments, but tonight we have a lot of clips to show. If we don't get to your comments, I am planning on doing, if I don't hit the wrong button tonight, I plan on doing some of that fireside chat where I take some of your comments that we didn't get to for the night and talk about them one-on-one. So if you, a lot of you have really liked that format. So I plan on doing Crimes After Dark. The problem is that the last few nights, again, we keep getting flagged for inappropriate content. And then when they do that, I can't look at my chat until they get done reviewing my reviews. But if I stay in the studio and I don't hit the exit button, I've got my full chat. So I'll have to make sure I don't hit the exit button, or I'm going to have to wait 24 hours or something for them to get around reviewing my video. I really think that somebody's doing it to try to kill our channel, and it's pissing me off. But you know what? I shouldn't even say that because it just gives them more power. So fuck off. Anyways, there you go. Are we 11 minutes in? Yeah, we're
Yep.
Yeah.
Toddlers will be toddlers. It is what it is.
Drop them F-bombs, everybody.
So I want to share with this. I want to tell you a couple things. So what happened was John Ray has been on the show again before because really because of Robin. When I got into the Long Island serial killer case, she encouraged me. I just brand new to everything. And she's like, you should reach out to John Ray, the attorney for Shannon Gilbert's family, and see if he'll talk. And I'm thinking, you're nuts. You're like, I'm not going to just read. I'm a nobody. I'm a tiny channel. I'm not reaching out to John Ray. But for some reason I thought, well, what the fuck do I have to lose? So I wrote a professionally crafted email to John Ray. And I got to tell you, it was a surreal moment. I got a phone call the next morning and this guy says, hi, this is John Ray. Is this Lee? And I'm like, I got such fucking stage fright. I was like, oh my God, like John Ray's on the fucking phone with me, like right now. And it took me 20 minutes to get the nerves out of myself to even talk to the guy. Like, I can't believe he just called me back kind of thing. It was crazy. It was a great moment. Later on, I went out to New York and met One, and I put boots on the ground in Luigi Mangioni's case, and I went out to where Brian Thompson was shot and killed in front of that Midtown Manhattan Hilton, and I went on the rail. The what do they call it? Now I'm losing my mind on the name of the rail that I took. No. The
Long Island Railroad.
Yeah, the Long Island Railroad.
LIRR. We call it the LIRR.
That's what the Lear. That's what I was looking for. The Lear. That was what I was searching for. The Lear. I had so many. I was terrified. I was even terrified about that. I was terrified going to New York. I'd never been to New York, and I was like, I'm a little small time guy in a big city. I'm going to get knifed, stabbed, killed. I don't know. I was terrified, but I sucked it up, Buttercup, and I sat in John Ray's office, and we had a one-on-one conversation in the Miller Place office where we're going to see he shot the video from today. So real quick to set this up for you guys, and I realized my panel, I got to make room for my panelists to talk, but obviously I'm super excited about what happened. I got an email from John Ray's team saying, hey, John Ray is going to be making an announcement about Jeffrey Epstein. I'm like, what the fuck with Jeffrey Epstein? Like, I didn't even know John. Here's the thing. John Ray's name surfaced in the Jeffrey Epstein files several times, and people from Sweden and all over Europe started calling John Ray, asking why his name is surfacing in the Epstein files. That's what kind of led to this whole thing, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, about how John Ray's. And by the way, if you're going to end up in the Epstein files, the way John Ray ended up is the fucking way you want to do it. He ended up because he was putting pressure on the attorney general to do something about something, and they didn't do it. And so people were like, why the hell didn't they respond to you, John Ray? So he's in the Epstein files for the right reasons, not because, oh my God, it's an embarrassment, I'm in the Epstein files. He's in there for all the right reasons. So I want to share with you a few moments, clips. One of them's pretty lengthy.
Lee, before you do that, we got 2 donations.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you. So first we got Michelle Rowe 740. She gave $5. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Was it? I don't know if it was to you or.
Oh,
She
and look,
donated
it is,
to one of
it is
us.
to us. It is
Yeah,
to us, and
yeah.
they like the Cobain case. Look at that. They
Yeah.
got the Sunday. I'm just gonna quit my channel. These guys are taking over my show. You guys want fucking Sunday night? Well, who cares? Lee's not even here. I'm fucking. Anyways. Thank you for supporting that. I love the Kurt Cobain show kind of stuff. I love that they've got a case that they cover where I'm not covering it. So they do the thing. I think it's a super cool break from the channel.
Real quick, I want to thank Michelle F. for her super chat as well. And thank you for the well wishes to getting better. Thank you, Michelle. God bless. We love you.
Yeah, and that's Michelle Ifs there, and we got Michelle Rowe with another gift I've noticed. And so thank you for all of the support and the love for the channel. We really appreciate that very, very much. It makes the wheels go round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round. Yeah. All right. So let's see. What I want to share with you for the moment is, again, so we had a hard time finding John Ray. In the email they said, and it was great. It was personally addressed to me. Hey, Lee, John Ray is going to be talking about the Jeffrey Epstein press release tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is this? And they said, we'll send you the link in the morning. Well, I never got the link, and I had the phone number of his assistant, and I was texting her. I didn't want to call because I figured they're busy with media and all that. So they weren't responding to the text, and we're live. I went live a half hour before it was supposed to go live. About 15 minutes into when it was supposed to be there, I'm panicking. I'm like, oh my God, we missed the whole thing. Maybe they didn't do it. We don't know. And then their team emailed me, here's the link. He's on Twitch. Go over there. So we kind of came in the middle of the Twitch thing. And thanks for the super sticker as well. Appreciate that very, very much. I love that. Here's a moment I thought was super cool. A moment when John Ray, he had just ended. And basically, so I sent him a voicemail and a message that said, hey, if you're willing, when you get done with your press release, here's my StreamYard link. We would love to have you on and talk about it. He joined us immediately after the press got done. And it was the coolest experience. So here's a moment where John Ray, he had a reporter in his office. I heard the reporter asking questions in his office. There was several reporters, I think, but I heard a reporter, and he was doing it from his office, which I sat in and I had that one-on-one with him. And then here's him apologizing because more media is showing up, which I'm pretty sure Robin did it. I'm pretty sure Robin was calling all the news affiliates wanting to know why they weren't covering John Ray. And they're like, I got to go. See you later. And then they started to show up at his place. So check this out. We'll hopefully play this and hope this out.
Lee, can you hold on this for 1 second? I don't want to.
Yeah.
All right.
And here he goes. He's silently talking to he's calling the media and see how he's waving the media in and finishing our chat while the media is coming into his office. So yeah, it sounds like John's working something out on the backside there real quick. Just wanted to share with you guys that we have a great opportunity to talk to John Ray right after giving a public statement asking for opening an investigation. Okay, John, you're back, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm back. There are more media showing up here now. So I'm going to have to give them that attention. And so you and I may break this up a little. Is that okay with you? Or
yeah, 100%, John. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, thank you so much.
So if I lose you or if I have to cut off, I will, and then I'll come back to you and we can continue. Okay.
Look at the way he's like, is that okay with you? Like, you got fucking media showing up and is it okay if I kind of cut you up? How badass is that? How humble is that shit?
True professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way he dresses too. I like his color.
I mean, a lot of people wouldn't do. A lot of people wouldn't do that.
No, he'd have just blown most of us off. Like, I gotta go. Bye. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I just thought that spoke to his professionalism and his conducting himself as a person. It's just was just a polite, super unnecessary thing. He didn't need to explain himself to me. He could have just said, "Hey, I gotta go. Maybe I'll talk to you later." But not only did he ask politely, "Is it okay?" But he made good. He came immediately back after the press were done, and we were back on the air. And we talked to him for a good hour and a half, I think, after that. So, here's a moment where John Ray's talking about why the press release happened today. Now, this is a little bit lengthy because he's explaining the history about it, but it basically comes down to a letter he filed in 2020 to the Attorney General's office that went unresponded, and now it gets resurfaced when John Ray's name comes up in the Epstein files and people start realizing, wait a minute, how come nobody responded to John Ray when he brought this up in the first place? So let's watch this clip. If you're willing, could you reiterate for us, if you're willing, I don't know if you have time to do so, the again, how you became aware that this kind of resurfaced and your name started showing up, and then you got contacted from people in Sweden and UK, whatever other places of Europe, and just how it kind of came to surface again for us.
Oh, okay, sure. As I said, it was coincidental. my involvement. I came to know Barbara Enbaum in New York and Stockholm because my partner is a Swedish opera singer, and she knows, a good part of Swedish society, both in New York and in Sweden. She was a president of Sphere, a group of women that are very powerful in New York. So we knew Barbara Enbaum. That's how I knew her, and the connection starts and ends there. I mean, she was somebody I didn't really like very much. I didn't really know her well, but I knew her, and I knew her friends. So what happens is Barbara sets up 2 organizations that.
And real quick, I'm gonna pause for a minute. He keeps saying Barb Rue, which it can confuses people because is he mispronouncing Barbara or is it a Bob Rue? It is Barb Rue. I'm gonna show this on screen just as an aside so you can understand who he's talking about. We're gonna put this on screen and just real quick. Okay, apparently I have to remove that. Oh, if I remove that, I hope I can get back to the place we were at. That would suck. Anyways, that's who he's talking about. See how it's Barbara or Barbara Enbaum?
Barbara,
yeah. So that's why the name sounds a little weird if you're not familiar with who she is. She's a Swedish entrepreneur. That's who he's talking about, and his connection with her and his partner, who is anyways, and how they made this connection. So let's try to follow through with it. I'll try to get us going here again, and let's continue.
One of them is called SALSS, Swedish American Life Science Summit, and also known as SALS. And she sets this up in around 2003. It's a supposedly not-for-profit organization, but it's really just Barbara in disguise. It's her alter ego. She then also sets up a group called Barbara's Best and Brightest, BBB, as she called it. And this is a group that, this is an organization that supposedly promotes the best interests of Swedish women. But and again, that's just an alter ego of Barbara. I knew of both of those organizations, and it never made any sense to me that they existed. For example, this SALS organization was supposed to be something to promote biochemistry and life science, whatever life science means. And it made no sense that Barbara had any involvement with that at all. And then, of course, it turns out it's really just kind of a front for what Barbara was doing. So anyway, she sets up these organizations and she holds these summits, as she calls them, which are nothing more than grand dinners. And at them, she would have various musicians perform for the guests.
And this is where it's going to get really interesting for those who aren't familiar with Jeffrey Epstein. He's going to start to outline how he started to learn about how Barbara or Barbro, or how you pronounce her name, started to provide young girls, Swedish girls, coming in and being provided to American businessmen for, hey, I want a pretty little intern to work for me for a year. And so she would arrange these arrangements for Swedish girls to come in and work for rich American businessmen in the New York area. So we're going to talk about that.
Now, the guests were very wealthy CEOs of Sweden and of international, import from all over the world, including America. And she requested that my partner, who was a renowned opera singer in Europe, sing at these functions. So she did. My partner did. She sang there. And that's how I ended up being there. To come and see her sing. And when I went to one of these summits, the composition of the gang that was there were a large gaggle of men, older men, who were in their 50s and up, and some of them very old and very wealthy, and can comment.
And by the way, this John Ray while a high profile attorney who's been involved in very high level things, somebody was like, he needs a better cameraman. I shit you not. I'm going to make an offer. I'm going to fly out to New York and bring him a studio set up to improve this thing for the future kind of thing. He's been in some major cases, and usually, to be fair, he doesn't shoot his press releases from inside of his office at his home office kind of thing like that. But I was like, I need to go out there and get this guy some lighting and some better thing than the computer in front of him. Love the guy, love him. But somebody was like, why the hell does he have like a laptop in front of the screen and they're shaking the camera all over? But anyways, it is what it is. Keep listening. This is good stuff.
There were all of these young, very lovely Swedish girls who were there, and dressed alluringly. And it just struck me as rather striking, passing odd, passing strange that this group, it made no sense. Why are they there? What do these girls have to do with this? Something was incongruous to me.
Yeah.
But I not my business. I didn't think anything of it and left it off. However, in 2002, she named the Man of the Year for, I think it's for the BBB. She named the Man of the Year Jeffrey Epstein. I didn't know who I was. I had no idea. But apparently he would show up in several years of these summits. He would be there and he would donate. We came to learn that he donated about $1.5 million over the course of years to Barbara's organizations. Mind you, these organizations, the only real active agent of these organizations was Barbara herself, who invented these organizations. So where did the money go? I mean, you can figure that out. All right.
Yeah.
So, and there were other people who donated as well, and organizations who donated. Now, what she did then is she would take these BBB girls that she supposedly recruited from the School of Economics located in Stockholm, a place where she claimed she went to school and graduated. And she would recruit these girls and claim that they had something to do with bioscience. I have no idea what that connection was. But anyway, she would recruit them and claim that she would find them jobs in corporate America through her organization. And she would name a Woman of the Year who would be, involved in this organization, and this would be revealed at the summits. What?
And real quick, because I realize it's a bit of a long thing. We're going to continue it, but I want to break it up a little bit. I want to say this. I hope to God you understand this is no disrespect to women whatsoever. That what I've seen, because Pretty Women can be absolutely 100% professional and smart as a whip. But there's a lot of agencies where literally the men, the wealthy men are like, I don't give a fuck whether she has any skills or not. If she's hot and she looks a certain way, I'll hire her. And they'll fake her resume up and they'll be like, they'll just put the trophy piece in the office. And again, no disrespect to women. There are plenty of smart, beautiful women. But this agency is running that kind of thing where they basically just kind of fake the resume and say, oh, you want a hot bimbo for your office? Then we'll send you this one and we'll make her resume look good. Kind of thing.
All right. We got two right here, Robin and Logan, right?
Right. That's exactly. We just said, hey, look, I don't care if you guys have any skills. Just come on to the show.
Yep.
Fair enough. All right. Hold on. Let me get this thing playing again. Oh, shit. Which one is it? Oh, here. Which video is it? How did I lose it? Did I lose it? Did I take it off stage? Tell me. No, I didn't. Here it is. All right. Here we go.
Then really developed was something quite different than what I've just explained. And I didn't know any of this until the Epstein scandals broke in America. And that was that these girls were being provided repeatedly to association with Jeffrey Epstein at his apartments in New York, at his apartment in Paris, and other places. And they were asked to dress in certain ways and to behave in certain ways for him. So that emerged. And as well as I said, I knew the people who knew her. So I would hear firsthand, secondhand, various things that would go on with her. And it became obvious that what she was doing was creating a honeypot for Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
And so there's one woman, for example, who was interviewed who said, was one of the girls I'm talking about, quote, "We were asked to dress in a dress and high heels while Epstein was in sweatpants at his leather room in Paris, where some of them were actually required to dress up as little schoolgirls and
Right.
serve him tea.
Oh, wow.
All right. And champagne was served to them by him. So you can see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Well, comes around 2020 and the Epstein scandals have broken. Epstein's been, I think he's been arrested by then. And
The first or the second time, because he got arrested twice for trafficking women. I'm trying to get the time. Do you remember if he had been arrested once before and kind of got off on it with the hand slap, and then again a second time before he killed himself? I guess.
He gets convicted of sexual abuse of a 14-year-old girl in 2008. He's convicted. So he is a sex offender officially as of 2008. Now, he originally was charged, I believe, with raping her.
Yeah.
But, you know, with his lawyer's work, he got it knocked down. But he still ended up as a sex offender. So here's Barbara Wenbaum still using him and getting money through him after he is already now a registered sex offender in the States, the United States, and still associating with him and bringing these girls to him.
Yeah.
So that, you know, who would do that? Some of the people you've read about who've been involved, who were connected with Barbara as well, by the way, were bringing their children around this guy when they knew he was a sex offender with little girls. You can tell the corruption, on the level of corruption that exists on the elite level in those regards. You know, try to find a moral person amongst them. It's not easy.
So, yeah, that's a clip. I want to give time for the panelists to talk about what you think about that whole thing.
I think I want to go to the leather room in Paris.
No, sir.
Sorry.
I mean, if you'd like, I'll dress
It's
up like a
insane.
little schoolgirl for you. But anyways, yeah.
I mean, basically, I mean, basically, sounds like this Barbaro was basically like she was like in charge of like a hub of. She was basically like had her own like little kind of Epstein type island, but in Sweden. There,
Yeah.
You're like,
Well,
she's like a hub. It sounds like she's like a hub.
Yeah, and Robin, we'll play that clip. I think Robin's going to ask her that directly. Like, is she running like everybody out of Europe through this Swedish connection to the U.S.? And we'll play Robin asking that question as well. What do you think about this whole? I mean, I don't know how many people know about the Epstein thing. I'll tell you this, by the way, as an aside. I don't think John Ray is even fully aware of how big the Epstein thing is. He was kind of looking at it from this one sexual predator angle. And when Joe from State of the Deep started asking him questions about CIA and connections with the government and Israeli Mossad, and he's just kind of like, I don't know anything about that kind of thing. So, because I think he's very limited on. He even said, I'm not an Epstein expert kind of thing. So, and as he said in the interview, I didn't even know who Epstein was until he kind of surfaced in that first thing with these girls, and he's like, who the hell's this guy kind of thing. So I think in a way John Ray's a little on the outside of the Jeffrey Epstein thing in particular, but he brought this to the attention of the then Attorney General Bill Barr, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit as well. But what do you guys think about this whole running girls from Sweden for a rich American businessman to be the little bimbo pretty girl in your office? That is that something you think happens a lot?
Probably.
I think it does, but it sounds like she's kind of dang near a madam almost.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the best way to put it, too, Logan. Best way to put it.
Yeah.
It's sickening. It's disgusting.
Truly. I mean, people get a lot of time for being a madam or a pimp or whatever.
You probably are too young to remember this, but do you remember a name, Heidi Fleiss? Do you remember?
I read her book, Pandering.
Yeah.
The one thing I'd be interested is I don't believe he's come up yet, but it would be crazy, right? If Rex Horman somehow had some kind of involvement with Epstein.
When you said that,
I mean,
you're like,
only,
what if Rex Horman's name is in the Epstein
I believe
file?
they only, you know, with all the redactions, and I don't know if you guys looked through any of the files, or even there's a lot of stuff, but they only released like 1% of the stuff anyway. But if Rex's name comes up, it's like insane.
Well,
I wouldn't be overly surprised, to be honest with you.
No.
Go ahead, JJ. What do you got?
No, a lot of what I refer to as the power structure, some people call it the elites. You know, they have a system in place, and many people who are way more educated on it than I am have talked about the fact that a lot of the appeal of Epstein was that he would bring people together. He would have these elaborate parties with these girls. So he would also be doing financial deals with people, because he had worked for Bear Stearns in New York. And so a lot of times these people are very powerful, but very wealthy people. And he would provide them with access to these beautiful young women, and then put the blackmail thing aside for a minute, because he did have cameras in his New York townhouse and all those things. But I can't remember off the top of my head who was speaking about this, somebody that's really knowledgeable about it. But so now he's got these people that are like, oh, this guy's all right with me, because he's providing them with a service essentially, right? And so, but he's also doing financial deals with them as well. And apparently he was known, as it is, you know, talked about in the One Nation Under Blackmail books. He was known for being able to move money around in a very strategic way. So a lot of these people that he was doing deals with, he's now all of a sudden, they're sort of ingratiated. He ingratiates himself with them. And it's probably a lot easier in the big business world to do deals if you're providing people with certain services also. And I happen to know, because of where I grew up, a lot of people who worked on Wall Street, and one person in particular, his job for one of the big brokerage houses was to entertain clients. So when they would fly in these big, huge financial clients, they'd fly in New York. He was the guy who would take them out and to dinner, and he would do other things as well. He knew what they liked. And like basically what's called in the corporate world a relationship manager. And essentially that's what Jeffrey Epstein was, except when you learn more about the case, he was connected by every account to intelligence. I mean, in fact, his first case in Florida, before he was convicted, they were like, oh, I was told to stay away from this guy because he's intelligence. Right. So I'm sure anybody who followed that case knows about that.
And I have to say, as an aside, Joe, I've met multiple women who have told me their job was hired as a public relations person for their company, and their job entailed being sent to essentially cocktail parties with clients to look pretty and to get drunk with the guys and to flirt with them and make them think they had a chance. She wasn't required to sleep with them, but all she had to do is represent the company and give them the impression that they might get lucky that night. And she just goes out all night long having drinks with them. They pay for all her drinks in her tab. And that's her job for the company, is to make the clients feel like they might score. And that was part of the how to schmooze your clients and make them think that, you know, if they stay in this business, that maybe I'm going to bang that chick someday. It's just like, I think it's part of a lot of business practice.
Well, what they do, those PR people, is they pay for everything. So the client comes in, they have everything set up. They pay for dinner, they pay for drinks and any other extracurricular activities. So, you know, Epstein was that on a very, very large scale. And if he was, again, I don't want to get too far into this stuff on here, but his connections to intelligence, anybody who has researched it, the banking industry, I'm talking about global level banking, is intimately tied in with the intelligence agencies.
I was going to throw something in the middle of this real quick, if you didn't mind.
Yeah, throw it.
Were you done talking, Joe? I didn't want to step on you.
Yeah, man, you're good.
Okay. Just as a real quick piece of information that I had found out earlier, we all know what's going on with the whole Nancy Guthrie thing with Savannah Guthrie's mother, right?
Uh-huh.
So I read an article today that, and I don't know that there's any link here, folks, before I go say this, but it is definitely interesting that Michael Feldman is Savannah's husband, right? That there is a link between him and the Epstein situation. Now, does that mean anything? I don't know, but I think it's very interesting that just so happens to be a thing. So,
do you happen to know what the link is?
Not 100%. It doesn't really explain it in depth, okay? But there's a surprising link, it said. I can send you the file, Logan, and you can go through it at your leisure if you like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What was Jeffrey Epstein's like front as far as a job? Like, what did he tell people he did for a living?
He was a financial advisor, and really his claim to fame was really, honestly, making connections between people. He was a connection guy. He would get rich people connected with other rich people to make deals, and he was kind of a broker. He pawned himself as being a financial genius, but really, if the way I understand it is, he was a people guy. He knew how to make friends with people, and if you knew Epstein, you were connected to everybody. So
his big thing at first, it's mostly him that was responsible, but he really didn't. He's not really credited with being penalized for it, but it's really him. It's his. He worked with Stephen Hoffenberg, so that was his first big thing. Stephen Hoffenberg was the CEO of Towers Financial Corporation, and that was the big Ponzi scheme. And they went after it, but he got nothing. He got nothing. And we don't maybe with his connection to the intelligence or whatever, so they left him alone. But Hoffenberg got crushed.
to brag on Joe from State of the Deep. And by the way, when he gets his show launched, you're gonna love it. To brag on Joe, I knew a little bit about Jeffrey Epstein's sketchy resume and whether or not he had the credentials. And at some point in the interview, and I think we have a little bit of a clip of it, Joe and John Ray kind of wax about whether or not Epstein really had the credentials to do what he said he was doing. His resume was sketchy, and they kind of get into that a little bit about look, he wasn't as smart as everybody thinks he is. What he was good at was the social guy. He was a social guy that made friends and arguably provided underage women to people, and everybody wanted to be his friend because if you had a little kink, he could provide you that kink. That was his thing. You got a little something for that? I can hook you up with that. That was his job, to provide wealthy people with what they were.
Remember that I brought up to John that Bill Barr's father was the one who hired him at the Dalton School in New York City, and I believe was the one who helped him. And he was not qualified for that job at all. This is like the top prep school in New York City. And then he had no background to be in that position. And then he was also, William Barr's father, I think maybe John Barr. I apologize. I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe somebody could check it for me, but who had worked, I believe, for the CIA in the past. He was also the one who got him connected with Bear Stearns, which, if you guys don't remember, Bear Stearns was one of the biggest financial houses in New York City. And if you're old like I am, the Ivan Boesky whole thing that happened was Bear Stearns. And I didn't know anything about this world, but one of my best friends worked for Bear Stearns, who also went on to work for Blackstone. So Barr,
Donald Barr was his father's name.
Donald Barr. Okay, thank you. 1-1. So he, by all accounts, and by the way, Epstein he did not have the resume to get the position he did at either the Dalton School or at Bear Stearns. And that was something that we talked about with. Yeah,
you and John talked about he really didn't have the credentials to get into that world. And they basically kind of, again, it was one of those cases of it's not what you know, it's who you know with Epstein. He knew the right people, and he got kind of hit the skids greased to get into the right places and make the right connections. So
I think it's what JJ said. The big thing too, other than the connections, what you guys are talking about, the big thing that I was watching some interviews yesterday and the other day. He's really good about moving money around. So that was the big thing with some of these, these really wealthy CEOs and these big financial guys. They want to make more money. So it was like trying to hide from taxes and hide money. And he knew all the ins and outs of that.
Go ahead,
Real
Joe.
quick, I'm just curious, and not to be weird, but Robin and Logan, like, just out of curiosity, what are your thoughts as women on this situation with what we've heard and know so far with this, if I can ask?
Well, obviously, I think it's disgusting.
No, go ahead.
Somebody just said in the chat that Ghislaine teaches etiquette class in prison, which is fucking wild.
Right.
Oh my God.
I'm not surprised.
You have to teach, lady.
Right.
No, it's horrible, and it ruins so many lives, and then their families' lives, and like it's just such a domino effect of ruining so many people when you do things like this to them. I mean, whether it's people willingly being these type of girls or not, it doesn't matter. It's traumatizing.
No, and it teaches women that it's okay. It from the time they're little up, this kind of behavior towards women is okay. And for Jeffrey Epstein, I mean, this has been going on for eons, but for the people in this country, the men and women who let this go on, I don't care about your politics or whatever, but let this go on. This is just disgusting and horrifying for these women, and it has to stop. It has to stop, and it does happen to men too, by the way. It does.
It does.
Not as much as women.
It does. It does.
As much.
I mean, in fact,
as
far as it happens to men, I mean, oh my God, I don't know, on a side tangent, but P. Diddy's trial had a lot of male escorts that were brought in for parties and stuff like that. Men are trafficked and used for money. We don't think about it much. We always think about the women being abused, but men are abused in this system as well. It's just for some reason our society tends to think that men can't be manipulated.
I think about 50% of the civil lawsuits that he has, it's a little over 100 civil lawsuits. They're all male.
He's right. And I only asked this question about with Logan and Robin too, because women are still, it blows my mind. It's 2026 and women are still so suppressed in so many ways. Okay. They really truly are. And it makes me sickening to see it. Everybody that follows my community knows how I am about that kind of stuff. Lee, I know you're the same way as well. We've talked about it, and it just blows my mind. And I think things like this, seeing this, it implodes my mind that this type of shit still happens and it's still allowed in some aspects, all because of money. It's truly all because of power and money, like everything fucking else in this world.
And
by the way, I don't.
Go ahead.
I don't know the context behind that comment. What lasted 2 seconds on this comment? What lasted 2 seconds? I don't know the context of that. What was said before that?
I think people in the chat were referring to that. I was hogging up the discussion about this particular thing and wasn't letting people talk. And I wasn't doing it intentionally. It was just commenting on what we spoke about earlier.
Look, if that's the case, let me address that real quick. We're a panel of people who talk for a living. So getting us all to shut up is really, really difficult. We talk for a living. All of us have full channels that watch us and want to hear our opinions. So it's no sign of disrespect. We're used to giving our opinions. That's what we do for, well, not necessarily for a living. Some of us have other jobs, but you have to understand we're kind of we're taught to give our opinions because that's what people are signing up for our channels to watch.
So there you go. What's interesting, I don't know if interesting is the right word, but I guess disgusting. There's a million words I could say. What's really crazy about this Epstein stuff, that came out is we know that Epstein is a sexual predator, right? He's convicted. his first case that I guess 2008 in Florida. I know it was a crazy amount of charges, and it wound up only being one charge that he got. He made like a plea bargain and whatnot.
Yeah.
But when you see some of this stuff, some of these people who are involved in this further stuff, before later on, after he's been already convicted. So he's already known as a sexual predator, and you see these super wealthy people, and we're not afraid to name them, some of them either, that are there. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, some of these people are like, they know that he's a sexual predator. And I mean, there's an email thing that I was reading, that someone was covering. Elon Musk, no, we don't, you always have the presumption of innocence, right? Until you're actually convicted, right, of whatever it is. There's an email chain where he's actually ordering girls. He's trying to order girls through the email. It's the proof. It's right there. I mean,
So for anyone who likes Elon Musk or anybody else that's named in these files, you have to sit and ask yourself, what kind of people are they really? I don't care if it's a male, a female doing this. You have to sit and ask yourself, and do I really want to support that person? I don't care if they're an actress, if they're an actor, if they're a politician, if they're a wealthy millionaire or whatever it is. I mean, that's the only way we're going to change this shit. That's the only way it's going to change, is if we stop supporting the people who are perpetrating this stuff, and who are, if we withhold our dollars, because that's all these people understand is money.
Real quick, first of all, it looks like Bronx. Logan, you gave some memberships out on your side, so that's great. I want to address something really quick. I see that there's a general feeling in the chat by some people that us men are stepping all over the women and not letting the women talk. And I hope that you ladies don't feel like you're being suppressed by the men, but if you guys, I would love to make, especially in a case where we're talking about the sexual abuse or sexualization of women being, given to high paying businessmen. We want to hear your opinions about that. So for those in the panel or the chat who think that we're not respecting the women, I very much want to hear the ladies' opinions on these things. So,
as do I, of course.
I understand that sex sells. I get that. I get the whole aspect of it, but I think that there is a very thick, clear line, and it's crossed constantly, and everybody knows what those lines are. They know what they're doing is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they're okay with it.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's sadly the case. Did you have something, Robin, you wanted to add that you haven't added for this? Okay.
Going on for the moment.
Unfortunately, I have a lot of clips that I liked of the John Ray story, and we've gone an hour talking about John Ray. Are you guys okay playing more John Ray clips, or would you like to move on to a different topic? Because, I mean, there's a lot of cool moments from the John Ray, but I didn't expect us to be an hour already into John Ray, and there's more clips to cue. What do you guys feel?
Yeah, whatever. You got a lot of good stuff.
You're the boss.
All right, I'm going to play. I'm going to share with you a moment in 2020. We're still going to talk about John Ray a bit until you guys are just like fucking enough. So again, because it was a very cool moment. So in 2020, John Ray wrote a letter to Attorney Bill Barr, U.S. Attorney Bill Barr, saying, "You need to seize a moment." When the Jeffrey Epstein case popped off, he knew about this woman from Sweden who was involved in the elites in Sweden and the royal family in Sweden. And she fled the country when the Jeffrey Epstein popped off because she knew she was going to get exposed. She fled the country. John Ray, through his connections, found out that this woman was coming back to the United States and was going to be in New York for a very short period of time, a few days. And he wrote to Attorney General Bill Barr and said, "Look, here's the history. I know who this woman is. I know who her company she works for with, and she's back in the country for a short period of time. You say no stone will go unturned, and you want to investigate people. I would seize the moment and seize this woman and investigate her when she's back in the country." So let's talk a little bit about John Ray talking about that letter that he wrote and asking them to seize the moment when she gets back in the country. It seems you know, it seems pretty clear in 2020, you gave them an opportunity, a small window of opportunity when we had a Swedish national in town again after fleeing the country, it sounds like, right? And there was a small window of opportunity, and you're like, hey, look, this is a big moment. You need to seize this moment. If you're really going to do this whole leaving no stone unturned, now is the moment. And it just went ignored. Years go by. Now all of a sudden it's resurfacing in the Epstein files, and people from Sweden and UK and everybody's calling you to get information. And where the hell, where is the eyes on this? I'm just frustrated.
Well, what multiplies your point is that then Attorney General Bill Barr made 2 speeches, which we recorded at the press conference or played at the press conference. He made 2 speeches in which, in unequivocal terms, he said they are going to, the Attorney General's office department is going to go after these all these people who are the word he used was complicit. They're going to go after all these people who are complicit in anything dealing with Epstein. And he was very strong about it and said how proud he was of the department because they were doing this. And he went on and said that basically no stone will be unturned. Everybody who was complicit will be hunted down. And he made those 2 speeches. One of them before I went in March of 2020 to the Justice Department to get this case exposed and investigated, and then another speech after. So he said it before and after.
All right, and then one more clip I'm going to play when I step away, because I want us to talk about it when I get back while it's playing, is when he tried to get the media interested in him reporting to Bill Barr, you need to seize this moment, grab this Swedish national. The media's response was, well, are the girls underage? If they're not, we're not interested. So let's listen to that as he explains that one.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. It's a damn shame.
I was saying that before that Barr's speech was on both sides of my letter of complaint to him, and the letter where I said there's an emergency. You should get a hold of Barbara Enbaum as a person of interest right away. She's in New York for a short period of time. I knew that, and told him to move on it. They did nothing. The only thing they did is they contacted me and said, John, do you know the ages of any of these young girls who were involved? And I said, no, I don't know them. And it was an odd question because I had already answered that question in my first letter. I had said we did not know their ages, but that they were young. And that assistant U.S. attorney then told me that they were not going to investigate because they were only interested in if the girls were under 18.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah, if it's not a big scandal where it's underage girls, they weren't as interested in it.
And I listen. If the girls are underage, it's appalling. If the girls are not underage, it's also appalling.
Right,
but maybe less so. Still, I didn't know their ages, and I said they were very young. And we sent pictures, numerous pictures of some of these girls, to the U.S. attorney so they could see for themselves what I was saying.
So what do you think about this? Media is not interested unless it's a good scandal and they're underage girls and you've got something that's worth talking about and making headline news for the night. But just sex trafficking on its own, not sexy enough. Yeah. It's got to be underage girls as well.
Not surprising.
It's not surprising. Not surprising at all. But I'll tell you what, this man that was with us today, he is a class act all the way. He's not getting any money for doing any of this. He doesn't ask for anything. All he wants is to get to the truth and to help these women and any victims. And I just cannot say enough about him. He is just a tremendous human being.
In the interest of time, I'm going to skip one of the, at least one, maybe more, of some of the clips I was going to play. I want to play a moment where JJ from State of the Deep goes straight up fucking CIA, conspiracy, government, fucking high level shit on John Ray. And it's kind of an interesting little moment. So let's check that out. I think it was worthy of watching. I got a million questions. I do want to give a chance for JJ or Robin to ask you a question too, because otherwise I'll dominate this entire conversation between the two of us. JJ, do you have an immediate question? Because I do have a question. I can get him to bridge over to another case. But do you have a question off the top of your head?
I have more of a broad kind of thing, but I don't know if you want to get into that now or not.
Go ahead, fire away. See what happens.
Well, hi John, how you doing?
Good.
Having done research on the Epstein case, I don't know if you're familiar with the Whitney Webb books that she wrote. She wrote a 2-volume series about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, and she's an independent researcher. That there's been a long-standing connection between the financial elites and the U.S. intelligence and other intelligence agencies, right? The banking industry and global, and you mentioned Sweden, and it seems like that would be a thread that the powerful people, the money people, politicians, etc., would not want to pull on, or they wouldn't want the public to pull on that, because then it opens up a whole other level of inquiry. Did you have any thoughts about that?
Yes, I did not know these books you've referred to because I'm not a specialist in Epstein. I'm involved, you might say coincidentally, even though, I'm sort of a high profile guy. I've been in other cases over the course of years that were high profile, but this was strictly coincidence. And so I don't really know all those details that you've mentioned, but your point is well taken. These people that are involved in Sweden with Epstein, these are not ordinary people. These are the power elite of Europe and even of America, who are involved directly with Epstein and directly with providing Epstein with girls. So I think possibly the flow of girls from Sweden to Epstein is greater than from any other source that he had. When you look at the number of years and the number of girls who were introduced to him through a system that was set up by one of these people from Sweden, one of these elite from Sweden named Barbro Enbaum. Look, the connections to all these power elite are already evident in the Epstein files. But there's far more than what you see in the Epstein files, at least as far as I can tell, in the connections with Sweden and with the Swedish elite.
So I want to talk about that. I am starting to narrow down a few clips that we can jettison for the sake of for those who don't want to hear about Jeffrey Epstein. So I'm going to only play a few more that are kind of select moments. One of them is a little lengthy, again, with JJ and John talking about wrestling, which I thought was just fucking gold. But what do you guys think about I guess it was interesting to me hear John's comments. What do you guys think about that exchange between JJ and John?
It's great.
It was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the whole conversation, to be honest with you, was super interesting. And by the way, it was funny because, again, I told JJ after this, I said, it kind of feels like, as much as I love and respect John Ray, I don't think he even understands the magnitude of the Jeffrey Epstein story. I think he kind of came at it peripherally on kind of a smaller sex trafficking kind of thing, and was like, oh, this guy's providing underage girls, and you're like, oh, you don't know the half of it. Like, he literally might be blackmailing the entire country. I mean, literally might have dirt on politicians in the entire country.
Well, and the whole world, as far as that goes.
The whole world,
and
right.
Which was why I asked the question that I had asked, because this is far beyond our own country.
What did you ask, Robin?
Yeah, Robin's got 2 questions. She did ask, well, now that you mentioned that, damn it. Let's get Robin's question about the global sex trafficking that she asked him.
I was just curious. My apologies.
No, this is very good. Let me pull this up. Here's Robin's question to him about the global sex trafficking and the Swedish angle here. Give Robin and JJ a chance to ask a question or so real quick. I don't want to take a bunch of your time. I know Robin also is a big Lisk Long Island serial killer case follower and knew all about you and told me all about you. And I think she's the one that actually pushed me to reach out to you in the first place and said, you ought to see if John Ray will talk to you. So Robin, did you want to ask any questions, of John Ray while you got him?
I do, John. It's wonderful to be here with you, and it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for giving your time to us today. My question is this, Barbara Embaum, do you think that she was, it sounds to me like what you're saying is she is a central hub sort of for Europe and other potential nations, kind of funneling maybe not only Swedish girls and women, but potentially from around the globe?
I'm not sure about around the globe, Robin. I'm not sure of that. There are girls who were named as girl of the woman of the year, whatever title she made up. But some of them were not Swedes. Their names were not. Maybe they lived in Sweden or they went to school there, but they weren't Swedes. And so that's possible. I don't know. I mean, Sophia came. She was a waitress at Serafina restaurant in New York City when she was introduced by Barbara to the prince. So it could be there could be an international source of women, but I don't know that.
And I want to play another clip that Robin asked, and it'll transition us a little bit away from Epstein now, because we started talking a little, because I knew that Robin had been following and really kind of knew John Ray through the Shannon Gilbert story and stuff like that. And so I wanted to make sure she had an opportunity to ask him about the prosecution. John Ray is going after Peter Hackett, and he dropped a bombshell on me in a way, because I believed that John Ray was going after Peter Hackett for basically kind of obstruction of justice, that he was trying to hamper the investigation in Shannon Gilbert. He clarified he's flat out going for Peter Hackett's involved with her murder, not just obstructing, but actually involved in the death of Shannon Gilbert, which kind of surprised me. So let's listen to Robin kind of ask about that and the conversation that ensued with that real quick. Let me cue that up here.
Our lawsuit against Dr. Peter Hackett for being responsible for the death of Shannon Gilbert is pending and on the trial calendar. But in order to go to trial, one of the things that I realized I could use would be if I had the police file on the investigation of Shannon Gilbert. And so because the police department's commissioner,
I made a slight mistake. I wanted to play the file before this first. So let me just cue we'll resume where this is at. I got it to kind of like a little bit out of order. I wanted to play this other one first. I'm so sorry, because I wanted to get Robin's question, and then that was kind of the follow-on question that happened afterwards.
Our lawsuit against Dr. Peter Hackett, a police chief held a press conference responsible for the death of Shannon Gilbert.
I guess I was playing the right one.
Is pending and on the trial calendar. But in order to go to trial, one of the things that I realized I could use would be if I had the police file on the investigation of Shannon Gilbert. And so because the police department's commissioner and head police chief held a press conference and announced at a press conference that Shannon Gilbert died of a tragic accident, that was their phrase, I said, well, it's no longer a criminal case since they agree it's accidental. And so I subpoenaed their file saying it's not criminal. I'm entitled to the file under law. Again, the police, like they did with the tapes, which I eventually acquired, the 911 tapes of Shannon Gilbert, Again, the police department put in opposition to my subpoena of the records. I subpoenaed the records.
Right.
The judge signed the subpoena, so he agreed I could have them. And then the county put a motion in, the police department, that is, a motion saying that the subpoena need be quashed because they claimed it was still an open, active, ongoing criminal investigation that was going on. How could that be if they've concluded that it's a tragic accident? So I oppose that, and that motion and the opposition are pending in front of the court, and we're waiting for that decision. That brings it.
And then I'm going to play one more clip about Peter Hackett, and then the final clip will be Joe and John waxing about wrestling, and then we can be all done with John Ray. I realize this has lasted pretty long for you guys, but I wanted you to hear this extra clip about Peter Hackett, which surprised me when he was saying, you know, they're actually saying, no, he was involved with her death, not just hiding something, but actually involvement in it. So let's see if we can get that clip.
Just really curious, do you get the sense that Dr. Hackett was directly involved with Shannon Gilbert's death, just based on everything that you know?
The evidence that we have led us to sue him, to say that he is responsible for her death.
Responsible for her
that
death.
evidence has grown instead of shrunk. So that's where we are.
Oh my!
It's interesting. I want to real quick. I kind of thought, and you just said something a little differently that kind of took me as a surprise. I thought mostly the Hackett thing was basically he was complicit in kind of hampering the investigation into Shannon Gilbert. Do you more believe now that he was more than just misdirecting them, but may have been involved?
He's involved. That's our lawsuit, and his misdirectioning. It's not as strong an issue in the case. I mean, he did do things that people who are guilty would do. For example, he called the Ellenville Police Department to find out what they knew. The Ellenville is where she came from. That's where her mother lived. He called, that was in upstate New York. He called the Jersey City missing persons police detective. And his name was Cesar Camacho, and he did the same thing. He told Camacho he ran a home for wayward girls and that he was checking to find out what happened to Shannon. He was basically trying to find out what they knew. And but the one thing he did that was kind of like Sherlock Holmes with the dog didn't bark kind of a case was he who was the former police surgeon of Suffolk County Police, he never called the Suffolk County Police Department to see what was going on there because he already knew.
Right.
And that, so he acted like in the proverb, the Psalm, as well as I think it was quoted in Roman satire, ancient Roman satire, and it's the guilty flee where none pursue. And that's what you have there when people start doing what he did.
So I was kind of a little taken aback when she asked the question about, do you think he's maybe involved? And he's like, well, that's the subject of our lawsuit. He is involved. He is responsible for her death. And I'm like, did you just say responsible for her death, which is different than involved in somehow covering it up, but responsible for her death?
That's a bomb right there. Man.
It was a bomb.
Well, that man hasn't been able to tell the truth all this time. His story has changed from what, he says one thing one time and another, and it was the things that he has said it just made sense in my mind. This guy was somehow directly involved in her death, whether he did it allegedly himself with whatever it is, he knows. To me, that was almost like validation to hear John say that. So that was powerful.
It was. And he said, their evidence is growing daily. Like they're still getting more and more proof that he was involved or responsible. That was the word he used, responsible for.
Yeah, responsible.
Which is nuts. And again, for those who don't know, Shannon Gilbert has a connection to Rex Heuermann, the Long Island serial killer. There's an affidavit that said she had run into Rex Heuermann multiple times before she went missing. Rex Heuermann may have gone out to that private gated community before. He may or may not have been there that night. We don't know. There's no evidence he was, but Shannon Gilbert has a connection directly to Rex Heuermann, the serial killer. So the alleged serial killer. So
Right.
it's been held under the whole ongoing investigation, probably in part because they're not closing the book on the possibility that Rex Heuermann had some kind of involvement. You guys want to comment about that before I get to the last? I swear, after this, we can talk about toddlers and tiaras, whatever the hell you want to talk about. I don't care. But do you want to talk about anything else before I play that clip about John and JJ waxing about wrestling?
No, that was great though, man. When he said that, the way he said it, he seems like a very measured guy.
Yes.
And which you would, obviously he's an attorney, so he's going to be measured in what he says. But man, I was like, did he just say that he's involved, that Hackett was involved in her death? That's a bold statement.
Yeah, it was. My jaw dropped as well. I was like, did you just say responsible for her death? Like and you're right. He's very careful with words. So for him to say that, it was a bombshell for me as well. And if you followed the case, you would understand that that's kind of a shift in language, I think, for him in recent times here. Logan, did you have any experience with the Lisk case or Shannon Gilbert and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, I was pretty into the Shannon Gilbert case. I don't know why, it's not like I had anything relatable in common with her or anything, but for some reason she feels relatable, like her family feels related. I don't know. I was into her disappearance, and then to find out what happened after that with her sister killing her mom and all that.
Oh my God, right?
It's wild.
That was wild.
Yep.
What are the odds? Like, my goodness, so much tragedy in one family.
Yeah, and absolutely.
And I remember, I almost thought it couldn't be real. Like, you're serious? Like Shannon Gilbert's mother was killed by her own daughter in a horrific. And in fact, here's the other irony. John Ray represented that daughter in the killing of her own mother.
No.
Mary Gilbert was his client, and he represented her daughter in her own murder, saying that she had basically gone off psych meds and had basically a psychotic break, and tried to argue that it was not her fault entirely, that she had a psychotic break, and the jury didn't buy it, and she ended up getting basically the full murder conviction. But John Ray represented her, which is odd because he was already representing Mary Gilbert. So
what are the odds?
Right? It's like it reads like a fucking fiction novel. Yeah, go ahead.
Logan, since you brought that up, I didn't know because I've never heard you talk about it before. What are your thoughts on with the Gilbert side to that? Heuermann and all that other stuff. What are your thoughts, real quick, if you can do a quick synopsis as far as what you feel about all that stuff and relation and stuff like that?
I guess just in a nutshell, I originally thought that Rex was responsible for all of them. I mean, I thought they were kind of all put in the same place because the same person, same MO, he was getting away with it for so long. Why not? Don't change it if it's not broken, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I did think it was him. But since then I haven't really dug into any information or anything. So that was just my initial thoughts. It was him that did all of them.
Gotcha.
And for me,
I was the same way too, but go ahead, Lee. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and for me, it's funny because I was the opposite. What I saw was 4 bodies bound and put in burlap bags dumped beside each other versus others that were dismembered and the head found in one place and the torso found in another. And I thought, that's not the same killer. Like that's too radical of an MO dump. And and that was my first question. And then I saw a documentary. Josh Zeman was actually the one that did the documentary. And they had people on there saying, you're not dancing with one serial killer, you're dancing with 2. And he was like, look, that's 2 different killers that were dumping in the same area. And in fact, it became known, or it seemed, that Long Island is a dumping ground for all kinds of killers. Bodies get dumped out there all the time. And so are they all Rex Heuermann's, or are they a collection of dumping grounds of other killers as well? And how many are his?
No,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Somebody go.
I was just going to say that that's what, Rex's lawyer is going to be arguing. You're saying that my dude did all these, but yet we have a case where, one of the victims, there's another guy that is arrested now for murder.
Right. And let's talk about John Bittroff. So John Bittroff had been convicted of a couple of murders, right? And his team came and said, "Oh, well, wait a minute. You got this new guy, Rex Heuermann. Maybe Rex Heuermann killed the women that you were claiming Bittroff did." And they required testing to be done on the murders that they attributed to Bittroff. It turned out Rex Heuermann could not be attributed to the 2 murders of Bittroff. So they said, "Sorry, Charlie, no chance." But then Rex Heuermann's team said, "Well, wait a minute. Let's look at all the evidence that you looked into about Bittroff," and because they originally assumed that Bittroff was the Long Island serial killer. So now they want all files about John Bittroff, because John Bittroff might be the Long Island serial killer. So this case is nuts when you really get into
I had wondered too if some of them, I know this sounds stupid in some way, folks, and it's a reach, but if I wondered, hearing all that stuff you guys just said, in different cases, different situations, and this and that, if any of Heuermann had worked with somebody else at some point, possibly together. And I know that's not something that typically happens, but it does make you wonder, at least, could they have done this and both of them did their own thing, if they're doing things together at some point, you know what I mean? And it was just a curiosity of mine at one point.
Yeah. It's a good point. I mean, he's probably connected to Burke. Burke was the chief over there in Suffolk County.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure Burke was part of some of these sex party things. So,
I love this. Just pointed out this thing I was gonna point out, which I did an episode on tandem serial killers, duo serial killers. I think Pete Alteri from Murder Metal Mayhem kind of brought this up to me about the idea that sometimes killers kill in tandem, or they compete with each other, and they actually will dump bodies on each other's dumping grounds to insult the other serial killer, to desecrate their crime scene. Like, there's all kinds of nuances. And I looked into, I know we're going nuts. John Ray suggested that it's possible Rex Heuermann's wife and daughter could have been involved in the killings in some way, and pointed out to a bunch of morbid artwork that Victoria Heuermann had in the house. It had dismembered bodies, and she called instruments of torture sex objects. Said that they're the 2 sides of the same coin. Sex and violence is 2 sides of the same coin. All kinds of crazy shit. And I looked up to try to see if there had ever been a historical case of a father-daughter tandem killing team. I haven't found a father-daughter team before, but people killing in tandem is a thing. And sometimes the 2 people who kill in tandem like killing different ways, but they still work together. And so the bodies will look different. One might kill and like to dismember, for example, and one might like to dump them in burlap bags. So it is ask a lot of questions.
It's funny that you brought that up to me, because a long time back when I did cover the list stuff, somebody had sent me an email. I cannot remember exactly who it was, but it was just a what if Dago question. And they said, what if Victoria is actually the killer and Rex is covering for his daughter because he doesn't want her to go to prison, and so on and so forth? And I was like, whoa.
Right.
Like, really?
Well,
come on
back
now.
When this, back when this started, Victoria was just
like one.
He was young,
yeah.
But that's at some point forward. You know what I'm saying? Is how I took it. So.
Right.
But here's the other kicker. Oh, go ahead, Robin.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, but who knows, more recent, I mean.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's kind of a poof, you know?
You want to hear a wild one? I don't know if you heard this one. Here's a wild one. John Ray, we've been talking about John Ray. John Ray suggested when they grabbed the computer of Rex Heuermann's computer, and found basically what they called, they found a document that he had deleted from his computer that appeared to be a planning document about where to dump bodies, and a checklist of don't forget to do this, don't forget to do that, or whatever. And what John Ray said was, look, Rex Heuermann and his wife shared the same computer. what if it was Asa Ellerup telling her husband, don't forget next time you do this to do this, this, and this. And she was leaving her husband instructions on things that he missed last time. So he's like, you can't prove that was Rex Sherman even writing his own instructions. Asa might have been writing the instructions to her husband. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do that. And giving him a checklist of things to make sure he doesn't screw up next time. So you're like, this case could get
nuts. Insane. It is. It's crazy, but God, who knows if it's right or wrong? I mean, I think she knew. I always thought she did. There was too much involved with it, in my opinion, for her not to know. I'll just put it that way.
And he made a good point. I know he talked about it, I think, today on when you did your live, Lee, the demonic stuff that's all over the house.
Yeah,
it's
the statue of
Baphomet. It's pretty. I know
right.
people have all different fascinations with things, but that potentially different murders occurred in your house, and it's a little bit odd to have all kinds of demonic stuff, paintings and statues, and all.
Yeah, I would go with that statement I made earlier about that email they sent me. Somebody in the chat said wife, and I said it could go that way too, that the wife was actually, the one that had all the mind fuck stuff, and said, I need to do this, or this is something I need to experience, and blah blah blah. And he was like, okay, baby, I'll help you do it. That kind of weird shit. So,
but one of the big things that they said, and it was brought out in the documentaries, that every time the family went on these family vacations, right? That's when Rex, would go to town and do this stuff in the house, right? But what John Ray has said previously, and it really wasn't investigated as far as he knows. A few of the times that I know, at one specific time, supposedly she checked into a hotel at a certain day, certain time, and it doesn't match. It's there was no real follow up. So she's claiming that her and her daughter were away on vacation at a certain location, and it's not. Yeah. It's not what happened. Yeah. It's that's a problem.
Right, because the story is that Asa that Rex would kill when his wife and kids were out of the country or out of town, and John Ray surfaced that was a lie. They lied about when they left the country, and they were in town when the murders happened, but they lied about it to pull the story that we had no idea this was happening when we were out of town. And he's like, that's not true. I called the hotel and you didn't check in until X number of dates. So you weren't there when you said you were. But why didn't law enforcement, why didn't the investigators look into that? Why did he have to go do it on his own?
Where did this last statement that is just on screen, where does that?
I know.
I haven't seen
I saw that Brian Koberger's name was in the Epstein files. I've never heard that before. I almost felt like that was one of those troll levels to move us into Idaho 4, which, to be fair, it might be. Just
said that the Koberger case is mentioned in the files.
Interesting. I want to play one last clip, and we will 100% put the John Ray thing. I'm so sorry. First of all, thank you, panelists, for bearing with me, because it was a big moment for us to have John Ray on there for his exclusive interview. I thought that was super cool, and I couldn't miss the opportunity at least one night. And besides, some of us want to take a little break from Idaho 4, so it wasn't a bad thing. Let me play one more clip that I thought was a super cool moment. JJ and John bonding over wrestling that I thought was just cool enough that I wanted to share it. Have any questions for John?
Yeah, the one thing that kept popping into my head while you were speaking earlier, John, was Barr. His father was the one who hired Epstein at the Dalton School, and yeah, it was his father who had been CIA. I don't know if I can't recall off the top of my head if the father or Bill Barr were CIA prior, but Epstein had no resume to be hired at an elite private school in New York as a teacher.
Well, that's interesting, because I can tell you a little bit about Dalton School, and if you're not in the circle of people who send their kids to Dalton School, you will have no idea of what's really going on. And that is, there's a circuit of very elite schools. Dalton School is one of them. There's several of them, all dotted around New York City and Westchester County, and at one time in Garden City. And the power elite send their children. And sometimes they're dictators from South America who send their kids. but they're all connected with one with another at the Dalton School. I myself was, as a young man, I was a history teacher at St. Paul's in Garden City. And it was one of the schools that was connected to these others. And I was the wrestling coach there. And so my wrestling team wrestled Dalton. So I got to go to see Dalton just, for that day when we wrestled. But I got to know some of the circuits. And the Kennedy children, for example, one of them was a wrestler, by the way. And I was a coach then. So I got to know a little bit about the Power Elite through that connection. And I was just a poor, I made $12,800 a year, and I lived in the building back then in the day. But they're very tightly woven, connected people. You don't get into those schools. You don't get your kids into those schools without having these enormously complex, woven together relationships and the money to back it up. And so, for him to become a teacher at that school, it was like I was nobody. I had no, working class Irish community I came from. So it could be that he got there, without any skills or background in that sort of thing, but he had the connections, and it's the connections that are really everything in those schools, everything.
Well, John, I grew up wrestling in New Jersey. I wrestled for many years. So if you were a wrestler and a wrestling coach, you're all right with me.
What team? What team did you wrestle for?
I grew up in Monmouth County.
Oh, Monmouth. And
I wrestled for Manalapan High School.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll be surprised to know that I lived for a year in New Jersey in Saddle Brook. And I was a wrestling coach there. And I was also a wrestling official, so I did a lot of. I might have refereed your games, your match, your wrestling match.
Well, I wrestled under the great John Sachi, who went on to become the head coach of Rutgers wrestling.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I was a big part of my life.
What was your weight class?
In senior year, I wrestled 135, and in college, I wrestled 142.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Competitive.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome.
I actually coached wrestling for a few years. I actually worked in a camp with the legendary coach from Lehigh, Thad Turner. And, I with many coaches, Al Bevilacqua from Long Island, one of the great coaches. I worked with him at Hofstra in the wrestling camp there. So I kind of, I know the wrestling circle.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great to hear that. It's interesting. The wrestling community is pretty unique. So you usually know some common people.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just a fucking cool moment. How the two of them and he's like, hey, I might have refereed one of your wrestling matches. It was just a cool. Yeah. A cool bonding moment with two guys that had a common history of places they've lived and experiences, and I thought it was a great moment to share. But all right, look, we're done with the Epstein stuff. I really didn't anticipate it going an hour and 42 minutes. Here's the one thing: I know you wanted to talk about.
No, I think it's going to take too long
for tomorrow night. Yeah, let's hold this. We can devote more time to this.
It's going to take a lot more time. Yeah.
I agree. But that doesn't mean Idaho 4 is off the table. You guys, I've dominated this show, and sure, I'm running the thing. But please tell me what you guys want to talk about for a while. We don't even have to cut it off in 15 minutes if you're going a little long, because I dominated the whole night.
Well, I mean, I just say, like, as a preview for tomorrow. I'm not going to go into the whole thing now, but it seems like there is strong evidence that the DNA on the knife sheath is not even Koberger's. So we'll go into it tomorrow, because I have a bunch of slides and a whole bunch of stuff, but it is super, super interesting.
I think JJ has a word for what that was called fuckery. They did fuckery with the DNA in that case, and the genetic genealogy was fuckery. That's all it was. Right. It was fuckery, and most people bought it in America. They're convinced that Brian Koberger And like you said, again, not to get too far ahead of us, but like you said, I've said this before. If Brian Kohberger's DNA was on the house, then Bill Thompson wouldn't have said, we can't place Brian Kohberger in the house. Having his DNA in the house would have placed Brian Kohberger in the house, but he literally told you, I can't place Brian Kohberger in the house because they knew his DNA wasn't in the house. That was a fabrication and amount of fuckery.
So it's like the thing, right? So, well, I was just going to say, go ahead.
I'll say that I said 2 years ago, I don't think Brian's DNA was ever on that thing. That's my opinion.
No, real quick, let's address this chat real quick. Thank you for the gift. Ashley Banfield is in the Epstein files, and it was an email to Peggy Siegel asking her if Jeffrey was single to date him.
Yep.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to date that guy? He was filthy rich, right? I knew everybody.
He's trash. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
So, like, what I would say with Kohberger, so just as like an overlook of looking. So we know that his car is not suspect vehicle 1. The car that they have at different time stamps, it's a car with fog lamps. It's not his car, the car that they're claiming. So we know that.
Oh shit. Are you ready? Oh shit. So somebody gave me a theory. I don't believe in this theory, but somebody gave me a theory I want to get the panel's discussion on. They said, look, anytime the president flies in an airplane, no matter what that airplane is, it is called Air Force One when he flies in it. Therefore, whatever car Brian Kohberger's in is called suspect vehicle 1. It may not be. He could have been a passenger in somebody else's car, and they would have called it suspect vehicle 1 because Kohberger's in it. So they said that's possibly the answer to why the white Elantra isn't the same as Brian Kohberger's, because it's only called suspect vehicle 1 because Brian Kohberger's in his car. It's not his car.
Right.
What do you guys think about that?
It makes sense. It very much does. I could see something stupid like that.
But again,
surprises me.
But again, it's them playing with words, and so you had them playing with the, that's not what they led everyone to believe. And then you have the timing, and then you have the cell phone and the timing advance records. They played with that, and now the last piece with is what you just said. The one piece, that the one thing that people won't let go out of their mind. So you try to tell them all these different facts, and like, oh, but his DNA was on the knife sheath. It was there. But what if it's not? What if it's not? What if we can prove to you and show you how they committed fuckery with the lab, with IgG, and how they manipulated the data, and it goes along perfectly. What Lee just said, Bill Thompson said himself. We cannot think about that. How could he say in court, we can't place Kohberger at the house, but
here's the funny thing:
his DNA is on the knife sheath. If his DNA is on the knife sheath, and that's your main piece of evidence, well, then he's at the house, right? You can't have both. You can't have both.
And I had somebody blast me. I said I was going to let you guys talk. I'm going to try to get this out, and then I should shut the fuck up. But I had somebody blast me today saying, DA, why do you keep lying to everyone? Brian Kohberger's blood was all over the knife sheath. Why do you keep lying? And I'm like, are you even fucking reading the documents? Like, Brian Kohberger's blood is all over the knife sheath. Like, and they're like, why do you lie to people? His blood is all over the knife sheath. I'm like,
are there really people that stupid out there still?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That was beyond. That makes me so fucking mad. Because I mean, I'm sorry. Excuse this, but it makes me so fucking mad that there are people that stupid out there now. After all this, and excuse me, you guys, we have. Oh my God, there's no. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm shutting up. Move on.
Right.
Go, man. Go.
I can't even fucking get into it. I'm just beyond.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. I mean,
Look,
most people, a lot of people who don't know, anything about, they just remember like, oh, his DNA was there. So when you hear DNA, a lot of people just assume, oh, his blood was there or whatnot. They don't know the specific details. But the other big thing, and this is right in JJ's wheelhouse, right? So we know the fuckery they did with the fog lights and the suspect vehicle 1. The fuckery they did with the timing advance records and the cell phone turning off, which his cell phone probably never turned off. It just disconnected from the tower. Lee and JJ did boots on the ground, and you can see that in a video that they've done. And now if his DNA is not really even his DNA on the knife sheath, why do we have BK? What like so?
Because I said years ago. I'm sorry, one. I have to say this too. Why do we have Brian Koberger? Because they had to find a suspect and build a fucking case around him. That is exactly what they did. I'll die on that hill. I will die on that hill. They needed an outsider that was a little bit different than everybody else around.
Yep.
That people would agree was different.
Right.
Somebody they could pick on, and they built a fucking case around this guy.
Right.
And there's still people out there that are so stupid or just don't care enough that are saying things like what you just said about there being blood on the sheet that is Brian Koberger's. I mean, come on, you guys. Read the damn documents, please.
Right.
Okay.
Or is BK connected in another way, which is what we've talked about several times. Most
recently,
I'm not saying necessarily he's CIA or FBI or whatever, but
Miss Logan today on her awesome show that she didn't think was so great, I thought it was awesome, made a statement that relates to that in a sense that I got to tell you, Logan, I was sitting over here yelling at you, screaming, yes, 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 yes. Of course you couldn't hear me, but and it was the statement that you made about, and I know it was just in Jesus Christ, I'm so irritated right now, I can't think straight. It was just a what if type situation, okay? And if I'm correct, and please correct me if I say it wrong, I don't mean to, but you said, was Brian actually doing something, working on something, and they yanked him out real quick to kind of protect him, and that's why he's sitting in prison right now, so on and so forth, and has been accused of it. And it really made my brain go like that. So yeah, that's a really interesting situation. I mean, I've always thought about Brian possibly working, but the whole thing that you said about pulling him out, making him the suspect for this to protect him, really lit off some electrodes in my brain today. It really did. So thank you for that.
It would almost be like killing two birds with one stone, right? You pull him out because something's going on and you need him out of there. So now he's protected, but you also have a case that's now solved as well.
Right.
Well, and I think they also had to tell the general public that every victim was asleep, because that's the only way that Brian Koberger would have been able to get away with this and actually commit these crimes, is if everybody was asleep.
Well, just like how anybody would believe, like you're saying, anybody would believe Brian could do it. That's the reason why I think they show the photographs that they show of Ethan Chapin. They're young. Like, they look like he was 12. Yep. And it's definitely not what this man looks like now. And if they show current photographs of Ethan, you guys, nobody's going to look at him and go, what? There's no way in hell Brian Koberger took him down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Real quick to answer Wade Bird's question. We're in the process of reviewing the FOIA requests and public records requests that we've submitted to make sure that we didn't already grab that in one of our requests previously. If we didn't, we will go file that. So yes.
By the way, I got denied for mine, just so you guys know. I tried FOIA the full and complete 911 call. They said that the answer was that has been released to the public.
That's the other one. I know they love that one. We've already released that, and you're like, no, you released a redacted, trimmed down version. You have not released the full thing. But their response is, we've already released that, so we're not going to respond.
Yeah, it has been previously been released to the public.
Yeah,
right. And the big thing with the body cameras, what we're going to review and check. Because a lot of people will know, let's review the 911 calls, any arrests, any summonses. But what I could tell you, I don't know specifically the rules that they have, for MP, like for here with where I work, any kind of contact that we have with someone, we're required to have body camera footage. So that could be super important, because there could be Tisdale, or Rosenthal, or whoever else was working that night. There could be video of something else that people were in the area, or something that was going on that you wouldn't know to ask for, because there is no 911 call. It's just they were on patrol and they had contact. So
yeah, and to answer Wade Bird's question, curious how many cops were assigned to the special patrol duty that night. For some reason, I was thinking it was more than 2, and it might not have been Tesdale and Rosie, might have been in addition to them. I don't know that that's clear. I believe 7 officers were assigned to a special dedicated to the University of Idaho, and that they had assigned patrols. But I don't know that I don't think that it was clear on how many officers might be assigned on any given night to a patrol. So I don't know the answer to that.
I can't
I
imagine.
think we have it. I think it was in there. We have.
Was it
in that contract? Well,
no. She's asking like that night for that
night, the night
Right,
was there
night.
more than 2
Yeah.
officers on duty that night?
Well,
I don't think
if you go by the schedule that we have, I believe. I mean, I don't remember the whole thing, but I believe at 3 a.m. on that. So it would be Saturday night to Sunday. I believe 3 a.m. on Sunday, there were only it was down to 2. I don't remember Saturday night though.
I was gonna say they were on both sides of town that night too. Remember, because they did that. They covered that whole sign gig with long haired dude. So I think they were bouncing all over town, just those 2 for a period of time. So that would lead me to believe it was just those 2 that working that special detail that night.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was 2 as well, but I don't know that I had the firm answer that it was or it wasn't. But I had a feeling it was only 2. But any other? I was going to ask both Dago and Logan, since you have your own channels, and I don't know if this is something you can do off the top of your head. When we were talking about that comment where somebody says, "Why do you keep lying to people, DA? His blood was all over the knife." I know that makes Dago. What would you say would classify as the dumbest comment you've ever seen anybody make on your channel? Do you have anything that comes to mind as one of the dumbest comments you've ever heard on your channel?
After you.
Oh gosh, I don't. No, not anything that sticks out that we haven't already heard. I can't think of anything. It's so much the DNA. And it drives me nuts because let's say even if it was his DNA, it's such a minuscule amount. It's less than that of a secondary transfer, meaning he didn't touch it in the first place, even if it is his DNA. And that's what just drives me nuts.
Right.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah.
The one, I don't want to say it's the dumbest, but the one that bothers me the most, and it's no offense to anybody in particular, is that they're not dead. That bothers the shit out of me. And you know that it always has.
Yeah.
It just drives a nail under my skin. So, but the one that you told me today really kind of does scrape the surface for the icing on that one, because that one threw flames up my ass real quick too as soon as I heard you say that. So
it's not out of the realm either of possibilities. So
no, not at all. So that just
Mama J, thank you, by the way, Mama J, for the donation. And maybe they just want you to believe there was 2 on duty that night. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, the only thing I'm thinking is I think there was only 7 dedicated officers. So on any given night, would it, I don't know, but you're right. Everything involved in this case.
We know 7 dedicated to having
the
to
embedding
do
with the Greek
to the contract itself. Not
there still could be there could still be other officers working.
And
Go ahead.
I wanted to speak on something else with that statement too, if you guys don't mind. I know I talk all the time and talk too much, so just tell me to shut up.
No.
The statement that I think it was Rosenthal made when he said that he wasn't, the whole thing with seeing 4 or 5 people or 3 or 4 people walking towards the 1122 house, but this statement drives me insane. He didn't pay attention because he was only looking for people that were underage drinking or carrying open containers. Right. And I've thought about that over the past year. Okay. Every now it keeps coming back and it keeps chewing on my brain worms that I have over this damn case. And I'm like, or it was Tesdale, whoever it was. Thank you, Amanda. Whoever said it, it drives me nuts because you're a police officer.
Yeah.
You're working. I understand you're working this special detail for underage drinking, but you're a fucking police officer and you didn't notice something because it wasn't a specific thing.
Right.
Bothers the hell out of me. And I've always wondered, are you saying that because you're supposed to say that? Or are you saying that because of something else. And it really bothers me, you guys.
Yeah, it's like saying, you know, I might have walked past somebody beating somebody to death with a baseball bat, but I wasn't there looking for that, so I just kind of ignored it.
That's like me coming up and going, well, you know, I wasn't really paying attention because it was only the garage that was on fire. It wasn't the whole fucking house. So that was not important to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
What are you saying here, bro?
Yeah,
Jesus.
for sure. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, what else? You guys got any topics that you wished we would have got to if I hadn't spent all night talking about Jeffrey Epstein and Johnny? What's that?
I said, how about you, Miss Logan? You were talking about stuff on your show today.
No, the only thing that I found a little bit interesting today is, you know, everybody saw that Dylan had something written on her arm. A lot of people thought it said Gideon something. Yeah. I don't think that's what it was. I blew it up today because I'd never looked at it before. And it, to me, says the name Quinn. So I found that interesting.
It would make sense because her boyfriend's Quinn. But here's the problem with that, though. I thought it said Gideon was here. So if it says Quinn was here, he's not supposed to have been there. So when did he write that on her own? Didn't she take a shower? Come on. So that had to have been fairly new. Good point. Exactly.
But to me, the first letter is definitely a Q, and then I see 2 N's at the end. So
yeah, that would be a pretty good start if you can see those. JJ, did you want to respond real quick to the do you have a channel?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. I have my X right now, just my X account and a Substack, and I am going to launch a YouTube channel. I've just been so busy and I'm not good with editing yet. So I have all this content and stuff ready to go for my first episode, and I'm really shitty with Premiere Pro. And so to get the editing done and get all the content, I'm going to need to, it's probably going to take me like a whole weekend because the editing part is I've been struggling with it. And I also have created this whole arc of what my first intro episode would be. And now I think I want to change it completely. So I've been trying to lock down the angle I'm going to use for my first episode. Once I get the first episode up, it's a lot easier because then it's just building off of the initial thing. But I want to tell everybody about I have a YouTube channel and I will have content on it. So it's just State of the Deep. You know, you can find it just by searching that. So, you know, it's coming, I promise.
I was going to ask if you want to tell them about your OnlyFans account, Joe Blows. Did you want to tell them about that?
Oh, yeah, the OnlyFans account. Yeah. I got to make a little money on the side. You know what I mean? I have a couple of side hustles.
You know what's funny? Everybody laughs about OnlyFans. OnlyFans isn't just for whatever the fuck you think it is about. Because I mean, there's legitimate things for OnlyFans. Everybody's laughing like it means something dirty. Like OnlyFans isn't designed for dirty stuff, is it?
No, mine is going to be. I'm going to talk about cooking.
Yeah,
it's a cooking channel.
Dago's gonna Joe Blows. There it is. Yeah.
There's my OnlyFan.
That's your OnlyFan. That's your OnlyFan. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and I can mount it to my microphone. I can mount it to my shoulder. I can do.
But just fair warning, though, I talk about things that might be considered controversial by some people.
Yeah.
So,
I think the name State of the Deep probably tells a little bit about it, JJ.
Yeah. No, I just want people to know that it's not political because I hate politics, but some people, you know. Some topics get people fired.
And we don't have to talk about it, but I know Robin's probably soon going to announce that she might have something in the works for her own thing. Maybe now you don't want to talk about it, but I'll just tease it at that. And if you don't want to talk about it, it's up to you, Robin. You want to talk about it, you don't have to talk about it, but maybe Robin has something.
No. I have created a channel. It's going to be dealing with missing and murdered Indigenous women and people, really, not just women. It's Indigenous people. that it it's it shouldn't be happening to anyone, but in that community, it is very underreported. My first case will be the Celia Pike case. I'm still conducting research with that case and getting my first episode together. And it's so yeah, I will keep everyone up to date on that. So I wasn't ready to.
Yeah, I was trying to leave it ambiguous enough that you didn't have to tell people what it was or where it was bad if you didn't want to. I just was so sorry about springing that on you. But, you know, since we're all talking about our channels and everybody keeps asking, like the number one thing I get asked all the time is does one have a channel? Not what you think. No,
this
no,
is my
it does not have
channel.
yeah, this is his channel. Yeah,
I did have something I was going to throw out. I asked you last
Yeah.
night about tonight, and I almost forgot about it, but you guys all reminded me that not tomorrow, but next Saturday, we're going to be kicking something off that we've been working on for a month or so. Well, a little bit more, I think. My producer, Mikey, the last 24 is putting it together. Myself, Miss Logan here, Bronx Tales True Crime, typically unique, and other people that we're going to be rolling through. It's going to be once a week to start with. On Saturday nights, it's called The Verdict Room Unfiltered. And of course, at some point, I'm going to try to see if Lee will join us as well, and everybody else, because that's what it's about. We come together once a week, a group of us, and we put out our verdicts for the week on what we're covering or want to cover, or what our thoughts are on different things, so on and so forth. It'll be 6 p.m. And it won't be a long show, folks. It's like an hour, 2 hours tops, but 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what, I think that's what, 3 Pacific.
Yeah.
We'll be getting together doing that. So I'm looking forward to that as for sure, and I'm hoping all you guys can show up and hang out with us. So
yeah, absolutely. As long as it doesn't coincide, and it sounds like it doesn't.
No,
yes,
we make
if you
sure
ever
of
send me, if you send me an invite, I'll join up with you. And I don't want to over. Yeah, so yeah, for sure. Let me know if you want me on, and I'll come on and join you and let you run the show instead of talking over you all the time. So
no, thank you for letting me plug that, by the way, because that's something we've
Yeah.
been trying to put together for a long time, and we are lucky to have Miss Logan joining us, and of course Kim from Typically Unique, and other creators are going to be rolling through as well. So I'm kind of excited.
So before we close, I want to tell you a few announcements, but I first want to ask Logan, do you have any special things going on like that you want to tell people about that you got upcoming this coming week, or?
No, just my regular show, regular stuff. Nope.
When is your regular show? What time is your regular show?
I usually do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 5:45 Central Time till whenever we finish.
Okay. Which is cool, because then you can still kind of show up on our show every once in a while. Yeah, or actually you can show up a lot, which is great. We want you here. It's very cool. Let me tell you a couple things, because I know that people will start to check out if we do close. So I want to do it before we close, which is I'm going to be on travels related to things for our channel. I'll be on travels. So tomorrow night we're together. I'm hoping to debut a really smoking hot song with a sizzle reel. If I can beat my team into finishing that video, I got to get a bunch of people working together around the clock. Go to work. Anyways, if they can get that sizzle reel done, it's going to be badass. You want to be here on time tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's not if you're going out to the bars and getting laid and hooking up and all those things. You want to do this instead. Come here and watch the show and check that out, because it's going to be worth it. Sunday night, the team will be without me, because as normal. And are you guys still covering Kurt Cobain on that as well?
We are.
Yep.
So that's awesome. And in fact, they've got some stuff in the works that could be very cool coming up on the Kurt Cobain thing. So you don't want to miss that as well. Monday and Tuesday is the tricky part. I will probably not be physically available to join either the Monday or Tuesday stream, which is very hard for me to be gone that long from my stream. The way that I'm going to kind of handle that is, those of you who know my fireside chat format, where I cover people's comments one-on-one as a long form video after the show, I'm going to do that. So I can't make it live with you guys, but I will try to do the fireside chat where I took comments from the chat that was with you guys without me, and I'll take comments that I felt worth talking about, and I'll do a fireside chat. So I'll still be in touch. I just won't be on those lives Monday and Tuesday night. With all luck, I'll be on the lives Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and probably not Sunday or Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure. So there's going to be some hit and miss for my availability. However, I hope it'll come with some payoff for you guys in the long run. So I stay tuned on that. And again, let's do some close. We'll go around the horn. We'll do 1-1. We'll go 1-1. Robin, JJ, Dago, and then Logan, and then I'll close. So what do you got? 1-1 for closing.
Well, thanks everyone for joining. Great discussion. Great stuff today with John Ray. Thanks Logan, Dago, Robin, Lee, denizens, meatballs, Bronx Tale, True Crime members, groupies. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to our amazing mods, Amanda, Essie, whoever's here. Thanks to all of you. Great stuff as always, and we have a lot of amazing content and stuff coming up. I'll leave you with a great movie quote like I've been doing. You're not the man I knew 10 years ago. It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage.
Oh shit! What is that? What is that show?
I know what that is. Damn it!
Do you? This needs to become a trivia. He should do a quote, and then we got to figure out what the movie was, because I don't know that one.
I remember that, but I can't think of what the hell it's from.
Shit. Sounds like a Jack Nicholson kind of quote.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
Okay, the main actor is Harrison Ford.
Okay, what's the quote again? Give me one more time.
You're not the man I knew 10 years ago. It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage.
It's got to be one of the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good job.
Ding, ding, ding. Winner, chicken dinner.
Good one.
Nice. All right. Robin, what about you for the close?
Well, it was an amazing day. Thank you guys for hanging out. Like I said, John Ray's a class act. The Long Island serial killer case is just, it's an older case, but it is still relevant, obviously. And so I really hope you guys, become invested in that case as well, because it is fascinating. As you can see, there are so many avenues to go down in that case. So I hope you come along with us on that journey. And thank you to, like one woman said, to all the mods, all the communities on all three channels. You guys are absolutely wonderful. And we're thankful each and every night when you guys, show up for us. So thank you.
Yeah, and if any of you are kind of new to the Lisk case and or liked John Ray, look through my playlist on the Long Island serial killer, and you can watch me interview John Ray and another thing, and it was a really good interview. In fact, we had Birdie Bombshells on a premiere of our interview with John Ray as well, talking to John. So good stuff if you want to see more of John Ray's opinions on the Long Island serial killer case. And we talk about Asa Ellerup and Victoria and all that good stuff. All right, JJ, what do you got for close?
Yeah, thanks everybody. And it was an honor to be on today with Robin and DA and John Ray. It was very informative and interesting. He just seems like a really stand-up guy. And of course we talked about the wrestling background and stuff like that. But yeah, it was I'm thankful for it. So thank you for including me in it. And thank you to you guys. And thanks to the Den and the meatballs and the mods. And I won't be here tomorrow. I will be here on Sunday. And then starting next Sunday, I'll unfortunately have to tap out from the Kurt Cobain discussions. But it's been fun, and I look forward to this Sunday. So thank you guys again.
Awesome. Yeah, and it was great. It was great that you got to experience chatting with John Ray today, and I loved the wrestling conversation. It was fun watching John Ray's eyes light up when he got to connect with you on that. That was very cool. Dago, what do you got?
Bros and hoes.
Thank you guys all for joining us tonight. As always, amazing groups of people here. Thank you to Logan, JJ, Robin, 1-1, and of course, Mr. Lee, for having us and having me. And all the moderators, you guys are all absolutely amazing. The best on YouTube, I have to say that, all of you. Thank you to my producer, my videographer, for doing what you do, and all my moderators as well. You guys are all amazing. And thank you to all of you people. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other, folks, and don't change nothing. You guys are truly the beautiful people. Thank you all.
The beautiful people, the beautiful people. All right. So sorry, I got songs in my head all the time. Logan, what do you got?
I just want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Lee, for bringing us all together. Do something nice for yourself today. Be kind, but more importantly, be kind to your animals.
Awesome. And thank you all for panelists for, I feel bad for Dago and Logan for your, you guys run shows. It's got to be a bit painful watching me walk all over the whole show the entire time and talk very little. Thank you for your patience and with your crew. We'll get plenty of hopefully time for you guys to shine on other episodes. And I'm glad that we got to talk about something other than Idaho 4 for what it's worth. It was kind of nice to take a break from that. So thank you for entertaining me. With that, people, I'm going to say have a good night. I will probably work on a fireside chat for tomorrow. Again, tomorrow night, I hope you will come watch the premiere of our new sizzle reel. Well, hopefully they will pull it off. I guess I shouldn't promise it because it's out of my hands. So hopefully we will premiere that sizzle reel and that song. It's a banger. You're going to like it. We'll kind of intersperse that, kind of do both songs off and on. So the other song's not going away for good. In the meantime, yes, Seattle Seahawks on Sunday against the New England Patriots. My team, the Seahawks, I'm super excited. I'm optimistic. I know that not everybody's rooting for the Seahawks, but go Hawks. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Bye, everybody.